Hi guys, and welcome to your daily tarot reading for Sunday the 7th of March 2021. Thanks for joining me. I'm going to use the Deviant Moon Tarot for today's reading. I realize this deck isn't everyone's favorite because the cards are kind of weird looking and dark. The thing about the tarot though is that some people are really afraid of the tarot because there are cards in the deck that are like Death and the Hanged Man. And I always say that the tarot is really not meant to be scary. It's meant to be a tool that you use for clarity and to predict certain events and to gain insights. And I like this deck because it is dark and weird. But look at this card. I mean, that's hysterical. I have a bit of a strange sense of humor, and I like stories. I like to read and to listen to books. And I've always been interested by the occult and kind of horror stories, suspense, thriller, those kind of things. So these kind of images don't put me off. If anything, I like this deck because it's so over the top and you can't be scared of that because it's ridiculous. I love it. I love this deck. Okay, let's see. Does that make sense? The logic around that? So it's kind of like this deck plays into that fearful quality the tarot sometimes has, then blows it up to make it laughable and has a good time with it. So that's why I like this deck. Okay, let's see what the cards have to say about the day. First, we've got the Queen of Wands. Okay. Then we have Temperance. And the Three of Wands. Wow. Okay, so we've got three women in the cards. And the feminine energy in the tarot represents energy that you can change and work with and adapt and transform. So it immediately gives you a strong connection with your circumstances, with what's going on for you in your life at the moment. And my attention as I'm talking is being drawn to the two moons here, and something that you may feel immediately is a sense of running anxiety. You don't know exactly what's making you nervous, but there's that feeling that I forgot to do something, or I should be doing something. There's something that's unresolved, or something's hanging over me, and I need to get on with business. So that feeling, I would say, is pretty normal on the day. And it's not so much that you've forgotten anything, but you're meant to use the energy to look at your way forward. So it's prompting you to think for yourself and to make your own decisions. And sometimes when you're feeling anxious, that's not the favorite thing. I mean, you don't want to make big decisions when you're feeling anxious and a little bit rattled. So that creates a conflict. Let's see what the cards have to say. Specifically, the Queen of Wands is a woman who is living her life purpose. She's happy, she's unique and different, and she's really thrilled about that. So she's not someone who's trying to fit in. She revels in her own unique persona. She marvels at her own nature. She decorates herself. She makes herself interesting because she is really focused on living a life that's meaningful and purposeful, that is brave. So she has fun and performs and goes hunting even when she is afraid. Isn't that what they always say? Bravery isn't about not having fear. It's about doing stuff when you're afraid. So she's able to have both fear and negativity alive in her, and she's able to tolerate that and couple it with happiness and self-realization and assertion and living your life. So she's a wonderful character that says nothing is absolute. You can have different parts of the self exist at the same time, even if those things are contradictory. You can be happy and sad at the same time. If you told the Queen of Wands that, she'd be like, yeah, that doesn't confuse me at all. I get that. Makes sense. You have lots of different aspects to your personality, but the great thing is that the sense of self-control and enthusiasm for life overrides everything, and you'll find yourself on days like today saying, oh, you know, this is stressful, but I've got an opportunity to go for lunch with the girls and I'm going to have a really good time despite this thing being unresolved, because that's the time I have ahead of me. So you live in the moment, you appreciate the good things in your life, you're able to deal with the things that are stressful or unresolved, and you're really able to have a good time, and you're not questioning yourself. You're actually celebrating yourself, or you're much more likely to celebrate yourself in circumstances than you are to doubt yourself. Next, Temperance. Temperance is about balance. And I've already spoken about the dual nature living in this one individual. And because you have the ability to really tolerate things which are mutually exclusive usually, and you're able to tolerate that sense of running anxiety that creates that imbalance, or two extremes being balanced is going to create friction. That friction is actually fuel and energy that's going to help you get to your happy place of enlightenment. The Temperance card, we've got this angel here. She's also got different natures, which is interesting for an angel. You'd imagine or assume that they're all pure and spiritual. Excuse me. This angel faces or is an intermediary. She is able to look at the negative dark stuff, and she's able to purify it and to elevate it into something spiritual. So in this deck, she's kind of like the angel of death. She's a guide. She's someone who helps you go from one stage of life to another, and it's about purification so that you can raise your vibration and move on up. Wow. So the Temperance card comes in, and you could argue chicken or the egg. Does the angel come in because you are so balanced and you tune into her energy, helping you detox? Or are you happy going about your business? Something happens that forces you to create some inner balance, and this angel comes along, or this angelic, detoxifying, soothing, encouraging energy appears, and it changes your mindset. So whether you tap into it, or it's something that's acquired or something you bump into, try and look at things as gray, not as good, bad, left, right, up, down, but as all encompassing, because it's in that subtlety and it's in that vague kind of unrealized potential, kind of foggy quality of the day that you're able to get to a particular point you want to go to. So it's not about logic and reason, it's about detox, feeling good, asking yourself, what will make me happy today? How can I stave off anxiety and fear? And how can I live the best day I can? That process is super healing to you. It's detoxifying, and it really, I'm going to give you the Red Bull ad line now. It gives you wings. So it really frees you to, you feel light. You feel like there's an amazing future ahead of you. You feel optimistic. There's nothing to be afraid of. And even if there is, that is perfectly captured in the Three of Wands. This is why I like using different decks, because each deck puts a different take on a particular card. Usually the Three of Wands is a young man looking out to sea and planning his future. Will I travel? Should I educate myself? What do I want? Here we've got this person kind of contemplating these three wands which are opening, and it's saying, which one do I want? So same thing. It's something that is birthed from this person via the umbilical cord, but we've got the moon blowing like little lunar dust onto these wands. So you can still be passionate and fiery about something, even if it scares you half to death. Wow. So I want to open my own garden center where I sell Venus flytraps. I'm really scared because what if I make the investment and no one buys these plants? I'm going to go broke. The card is saying that fear, what if the business doesn't work and my passion falls flat? What if that happens? The card says that doubt and that fear is a real thing. The business may not take off, but it certainly isn't something that should prevent you from trying. Today is the perfect antidote to fear, because you have utter and complete faith in yourself that you can detox and change, you can do things differently, you can have fun in life, good things can happen to you, the future isn't written yet, and this is this wondrous childlike belief that the world is good and can be anything you want, and when you tap into that energy, you make it real and you really can manifest whatever it is you want. And fear does not stop you. You are immune to fear today. If fear and anxiety really throw you and put you off, like you can't work or concentrate, if you're worried about something, you have to really clear things like that before you can focus, then today you'll be able to tolerate running anxiety and perform and do well and have a good time despite that fear. And in my experience, the things that really scare us in life are the ones worth doing. The things that do scare you, when you're actually able to move ahead with one of them, those are the things that have real value. So look at the anxiety as a signal that when it appears says, this is something you should focus on. There's some value here. This is something you should look into. So fear isn't a deterrent today. It's something that ought to attract you and give you a clue that there's something really meaningful behind the fear and the anxiety. Wow, isn't that great? So look at anything that has scared you in the past, or that has seemed overwhelming, or it's put you off because it's just seemed too arduous and difficult. Look at it again today. You'll be able to conquer your fear and move ahead. That is so empowering and wonderful. I love it. Okay, number-wise, we've got 14, and 1 is 15, and 3 is 18, 1 and 8 is 9, and 9 is spirituality and completion. So it's that amazing self-belief that conquers all. Have an amazing day. If you would like a personal reading with me, then please get in touch via my website. And I promise, if I do a personal reading for you, I won't use this deck unless you ask me to. In my personal readings, I use the Rider-Waite deck because that's really straightforward and the messages come through really loudly and clearly. I use the tarot, astrology, and numerology in my readings. If you have any questions about your life purpose, what you need to detox from, or what the next step will be, if you have any questions about money or love or anything at all, then please do get in touch with me for a personal reading, gregoryscott.com. On the front page, click on book your reading to order your reading with me. If you like this video, then please give it a thumbs up, hit subscribe, and share the video online. Have an amazing day, and I'll speak to you tomorrow.